I was on the Abused and Neglected Children calendar in juvenile court for several years. And about every 3 to 4 weeks, I would have the following scenario come into my own courtroom. Let's say that there was a mother, call her a single parent of 2 children, and she'd make a big mistake. Namely, she'd hook up with the wrong boyfriend. And the boyfriend would be selling drugs. She'd basically know it, but that's kind of the way the cards were dealt. That's just the way it was. So one fine day, he'd come over home and say, "Look, Helen, tell you what, if you take this package across town and give it to Charlie, I'll pay you $500. And so she'd basically know it contained narcotics, but you know, $500 will pay half my month's rent. I really need the money, so she'd do it. Okay, so she gets arrested. She gets charged with the transporting of 3 ounces of cocaine. She'd be convicted. She'd be sentenced to serve 5 years in prison. Okay, and to be honest with you, under today's system, 5 years in prison for transporting 3 ounces of cocaine is not an unreasonable sentence. Let me ask you this question. When the mother is arrested and incarcerated, what happens to her children? And the answer to that is easy. She has legally abandoned her children, so they come to me on the Abused and Neglected Children calendar. So now I would have this woman. She's in a jail jumpsuit. She's in handcuffs. And I'd look at her and I'd tell her the truth, which is, you know, ma'am, you're not going to be a functional part of your children's lives for the next 5 years. She'd start to well up with tears. Wouldn't you? But then I look at her and tell her the brutal truth, which is, you understand, of course, that unless you're really lucky and either have a close personal friend or family member that's both willing and able to take custody of your children, they're probably going to be adopted by somebody else by the time you get out of prison. And she starts to weep. Wouldn't you? But I'm from Orange County, conservative place, and the human issue doesn't always get people's attention. So I'll get your attention as a taxpayer and make you weep again. Because you know how much taxpayer money we're going to be spending for the first year? It costs in Orange County, and probably here, upwards of $5,000 a month to keep a child in a group home. So that means $60,000 a year times 2 children's $120,000 plus another $25,000 to keep the mother in custody. We're going to be spending about $145,000 of taxpayer money simply to separate a mother from her children. And who gets to enforce this? I do. I don't have to do it quietly. It's a release for me just to be able to discuss it with you so that you know what we're doing. And it's senseless. It's stupid. It's counterproductive, except unless you happen to be a prison guards union. Then they're really good.